Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications.
Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx fought back this weekend over charges she mishandled the Jussie Smollett case. Late last week, the Chicago Police Union and over 30 suburban police chiefs called on Foxx to resign. They said that she had preferential treatment as the celebrity when his charges were dropped after some limited community service and forfeiture of his $10,000 bond. Foxx spoke at the news conference at the Reverend Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Push headquarters on Saturday. I think we have video of that.
I ran for this office in 2015 because I believed that we needed to have a new vision for how we looked at our criminal justice system and the drivers of violence in our community. I promised then that I would run this office differently than anyone who had run it before. I promised then that I would look at how we used our system related to low-level offenders and focus our attention on the violence that plagues so many communities. I have said repeatedly that we have to fix the history in this city or in this county related to wrongful convictions. I have spent the last 2.5 years dedicated to a conviction integrity unit that has vacated over 83 convictions. I have worked to make sure that men and women who were wrongfully accused were able to get their lives back, including 58 men and women who had convictions from a corrupt police officer. The last 2.5 weeks and the attacks on the credibility of me and my office, what I've said continuously when I recused myself from this case was that I was not involved. But I will also say that our office over the course of the last 2.5 years has used diversion or deferred prosecution with great frequency. When people say to me that this appears that you are doing something for someone who is of privilege, I say to you, look at the 5,900 other people who have not had that same privilege. I cannot run an office that is driven by anger and public sentiment. I must run an office that looks at the facts, the evidence, and the law on every case. And so I will say to you, I am honored and privileged to serve in this role. I am undaunted by the events of the last 2 weeks. I am committed to serving my term, and should the people have me, continuing forward. I believe that this has sparked a reason for us to have a conversation about where we really stand on criminal justice reform. What we really believe when we talk about the rhetoric of a broken system and fixing it. It means that you have to have fidelity to that. And the efforts that I've had on criminal justice reform that were once celebrated by many in this county that are now being attacked because of one case and one celebrity, I think we have to ask ourselves, what is this really about? I've been asking myself for the last 2 weeks, what is this really about? And as someone who has lived in this city, who came up from the projects of this city to serve as the first African-American woman in this role, it is disheartening to me and to the women and men for whom I represent that there is not a place I go that I don't represent for Cabrini. That's right. That when we get in these positions, that somehow goals post change. That's right. We know that. Somehow when you do the best and that you put our office on national standards, there are people watching what we're doing in Cook County around criminal justice reform, and yet. So I will tell you that this is personal. It's personal.
Joining us today on our panel is Janice Mathis, Executive Director for the National Council of Negro Women, Michael Brown, former Vice Chair of the DNC Finance Committee, and Amisha Cross, a political commentator for Sinclair Broadcast Group. Welcome, everyone. And we're going to toss this to Janice first because you, of course, have worked with Rainbow Push Coalition. You are closely tied to politics in Chicago also. What's your take on the Kim Foxx controversy?
Well, actually, as I listened to that, and that was my first time hearing it, I was listening with the ear of a practicing attorney. And nothing is as sacrosanct as prosecutorial discretion. And what strikes me is that, is there a different standard when a prosecutor looks different than the normal, typical prosecutor? Prosecutors make decisions like this all day, every day, for the wealthy and the privileged and the white and the children of judges and the children of professors, as you know from having lived in Athens, Georgia. First offender, low-level defendants rarely get incarceration. They usually get a first-time slap on the wrist. This is fairly typical. So what makes this case different? And as we look at all these black women who've been elected recently to positions of trust and discretion, we're going to have to make sure that we use one set of rules for everyone. So I think that's what I was looking at, more than the sort of rainbow push. That's just like Jussie to have the prosecutor. I mean, Kim Foxx, she was at push all the time before she was elected, all the time she was campaigning, as was Barack Obama at push all the time when he was a state senator. So it's not unusual for people to go there, especially when they're in a little bit of trouble. Nothing like having the godfather of soul standing there with you when times get a little tough.
Misha, you're Chicagoan. What's your take on this?
Absolutely. So I've known Kim for a long time, actually worked on her campaign and served on her transition team. I think that, as was previously stated, you have someone who used prosecutorial discretion, who has come out and said there was not enough evidence there to be able to actually prosecute him in that way. So I think that it was very smart. In addition to the fact that there has to be an understanding that the police officers across Cook County, as well as those within CPD themselves, have had a hard line against Kim Foxx since she took that office, in particular because of the extreme changes that she was going to make to the system. Criminal justice reform in Chicago has been a long time coming. Police brutality cases continue to mount, and we know that. We have watched police officers just last week bust down the home of a single mom with 4 kids, weapons drawn on the mom and the children, find out they're at the wrong house. This type of thing happens in Chicago all of the time. In addition to, again, countless cases upon cases of officers getting off, even though we have video evidence and everything else of them committing brutal acts against black men and black women. And Kim Foxx came in with the strategy of cleaning that up. She came in with the strategy of reducing sentencing. She came in looking at a lot of the drug charges and seeing that marijuana was the cause that a lot of up and their dreams shattered in the city of Chicago. And I think that for anyone who was a voter in the city, who understood what the city looked like before she got there and the work that she's been doing, the move to protect her is very real.
Absolutely. And the only time I've ever had a gun pointed to my head in my life was a Chicago police officer, right next to the old LA Fitness in Chicago at 47th and right there at 47th and Drexel. So City of Chicago police have more stuff to worry about than Jussie Smollett. Clean up your city and quit worrying about that.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
You have plenty of pictures in your home, but you've never seen anything like this before. Introducing Easy Tile, the world's first photo tile made of sleek and ultra lightweight glass. Easy Tile makes it super simple for you to use their exclusive app for iPhone and Android to upload as many photos as you like. Then they print them out on tempered glass. Your order arrives on your doorstep in just days, and that's when the real fun begins. Because with Easy Tile, you'll transform your living space with a gallery wall that will amaze each and every guest. Easy tiles are even simple to hang. No hammer and no nails. And because they're mounted on small risers, they appear to float on your wall. Easy to order, easy to hang, and guaranteed for life. Now you can save 30% on any sized order, plus get free shipping on the order of 4 or more. Just download the free Easy Tile app at easytile.com and turn your best memories into beautiful glass wall art. Plus save big now with this special radio offer. That's easytile.com.
Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.